welcome to So Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan.
And a fresh-faced first-timer.
I'm Kcrackic.
I'm Kay, and this is The Story So Farscape.
The Story So Farscape features an American astronaut, a hunky person who he really likes cargo pants, I've noticed.
Hunky John Crichton, yes.
One of these days you're going to get it right.
And the Sebastian Aeryn, the beautiful Zhaan, the blue-skinned alien with all her gorgeous golden flecks.
Yeah. Not, well, as we've now learned, not as golden as they can be for her species, because we've seen some other...
I still think those were makeup, those was fake gold.
I like that too.
Yeah. And, of course, the always argumentative... And of course,
I don't know who you were going to say there. I know that you're doing a retake at this moment, but I really don't know which person you're going to say next. Who's going to correspond?
And of course, the always argumentative Tentacles and the
one.
Pesky Rygel, I suppose.
Oh, that's how we're differentiating them. Okay, no, I dig that. Sort of argumentative and pesky.
Dargo is just being his usual arsey self in this episode, but we'll get to that in a minute.
So last time we watched, what was it called? Oh, Rhapsody in Blue, obviously.
Yes.
And we
all
completely
about Zhaan and her other members of her species.
Missed the opportunity to sing the Rhapsody in Blue, the fantastic Gershwin thing, but I guess we can't really
I don't think I actually know that, but...
I think you know it from Tom and Jerry, where it's featured.
Probably yes.
It's best known for a clarinet solo that goes la 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 la.
You see me here doing my little circular knot thing, which means that I have no clue.
Yes, the listeners at home heard you do your circular knot thing. No, that's fine. Yeah, this time we've got the Flax, episode 13 of season 1, which came out in... Oh, do you have it handy?
1999.
Okay, yes, no. That's definitely true. I wonder if I can just off the top of my head, first
July 16th.
I was just going to say July 16th of 1999.
Just off the top of your thumb on your iPhone, yes. Right. And, of course, airing along the same period in time as we step back into our Wayfare back machine.
Yes. Our also special, time-traversing
was
wormhole
a David
module.
Cronenberg movie.
Oh, whoa.
Existence. Did you ever see that? I see this
no, okay.
called The Thinking Man's Matrix.
Yes, it's Existence.
Existence, yes, right.
Yes, it's got a Z at the end. That's the name of the virtual reality product,
right, which has the weird bubble-shaped organic things. But it's all on different levels. It's depending on if you're on level the actual world, and the even deeper world. It's these weird insect-like things that he eventually starts building this bone gun or something. It was a weird ass movie.
It was a really weird movie. It introduced some concepts because, like the Matrix, it was about being inside a virtual world and being unable to is this real or is this not?
Yeah.
Existential crisis.
And there was some very, the part where he gets the data port shot into his neck.
Oh, yes. And there's a moment where he asked, isn't that unhygienic? Having a hole that opens into your body? And the game designer woman, she, Allegra, that's her name.
Yes, it was. Yes, correct.
Death to the Demon, Allegra. Oh, wow, I remember a lot of this.
Yes.
Geller. And in response to this question, isn't it unhygienic to have a hole into your body? She just opens her mouth.
Yes.
So
and there was a few rather sexual scenes where she lubes up his port and slips her finger into it and
yeah.
I remember that. So yeah, that was a freaky ass movie, as I recall correctly.
I mean, there are films that you can classify as body horror. That's not this one, but it's certainly body something. It's
body uncomfortable,
a little bit, but also
body squirmish,
a bit horny.
Very much a bit horny
in its way. And it introduced some cool concept, like being stuck in a game loop where someone just sort of blanks in front of you because apparently the NPC wasn't programmed with a response to what you said.
You have to say the right thing in order to get them to keep moving on. And
I could really relate to that. I'll be honest with you.
I know some people like that.
We've all been there, right?
And She's just sitting there waiting for come on, ask me about this. Come on, ask me about this. And you're just pretty much blanking out whatever else they're saying because until you finally get the trigger that you're looking for, and then you can finally launch into the spiel that you've been wanting to go on about for the longest time already.
You almost sound like you've, for several years, done an improvised literature podcast with someone who tried their very best to support you, but we just couldn't always meet on the same level.
Oh, well, you get a weird notion like that.
Well, fortunately, we're doing a lot better now that we're watching this TV show together, which is fresh for you, but an old favorite of mine.
I guess we have the luxury of just being critics and appreciating the material for what it is, and not having to come up with our own. Really,
we can be like. Okay, so about a year ago, 2 years by now. Wow, the before times go fast. My boyfriend and I went to Florence. Beautiful city of wonderful culture.
Yes,
and we walked down a particular alley, and as many places in Italy were decorated with sculptures and murals. And here was a sculpture set in the wall of it looked sort of scholastic. It looked like a school, and the sculpture was of two gentlemen, and innocently the boyfriend went, oh, I wonder who those are. And without missing a beat, you'd have been proud of me, I lied so bluntly to him. Oh yes, those are this is a theatre school. Those are two famous critics.
Oh,
do you know they're dramaturgical Roman era critics called Gualdorfi and Stadeleri, and it took him quite a long time before he realised that I was talking about Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets.
Yes. Did you see those plague wine ports?
Yes. I mean, the medieval practice of just a little hole in the wall.
Big enough for a glass of wine, so you put some money in there, and then a hand comes out, and you get past a glass full of wine, and it's basically used in medieval times during plague, and apparently they've been making quite a comeback in the past year.
Brilliant. Yes, like being unable to actually go inside and enjoy a libation, you can just pay a little money and get a glass
one out
of
on
wine.
The street, yes. So, episode 113.
Yes,
The Flax.
Flax.
Yes, in which John's flying lessons with Aeryn come to an abrupt end when he is caught in the net left by Zenetian pirates to trap ships. And Dargo must choose between potentially finding his son and rescuing John and Aeryn.
Directed by one Peter Andrikidis, who I think he's done one other episode, but Justin Monjo, the writer, became a big part of Farscape. He'd write many episodes going forward, and a lot of them are very fun, and a lot of them are very memorable.
Looking forward to seeing them.
Prepare for starburst!
Driving lessons in space.
Which is the opening shot of one of the Moya's little transport shuttles, or whatever they're called.
Transport pods, yeah.
Pods,
so
yes.
these are...
Why is it all pods? Why is
what do you mean it's not all pods?
It's
some modules
it's the landing
Browder.
pods and the mod... Yeah, okay, so... But it's also the...
It's just these. These are the transport pods, and they're Moya specific.
They kind of look like, I don't know, a lightsaber with some engine stuck onto them. But...
I think they very much look like Moya, though. Like one of the defining sort of features is that shapes are sort of defined by ribbing. So you see that on the exterior and the interior, where there's these outward facing panels. I mean, when you look in the interior, you've got the sort of holographic horns, I guess, made of these petals.
The interior very much looks like the interior of Moya, albeit slightly different. But the exterior, nothing at all. I mean, like I said, it looks a bit like a lightsaber, and maybe it's got the smooth end, this ribbed front end, and it looks nothing like Moya. I mean, Moya looks a bit like a hermit crab. No, sorry, not a hermit crab. Horseshoe crab.
Oh, like so. No, you're right.
Or a
you're
squid.
Right. It's not a little Moya.
No.
I saw someone on Twitter remarking that the back end of Moya looks like the back of Dargo's head if he put his tentacles in a tail.
I suppose.
Yeah, right.
I was wondering about that. Do they ever move? Is that like something, or is that a fixed, rigid shape? Those back swept things on Moya.
Her tails. Well, they separate when she starbursts.
Oh right, yes, of course.
Because she creates the sort of energy loop
field there, but
between them.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think so.
No, she never goes full face hugger.
I don't know that she would. No, but I suppose she might leave that to some of her interior features, like the DRDs. I don't know if they're up for it.
Yeah.
But what I meant was, they do look like parts of Moya. The transport pods are clearly not little Moyas.
No. probably more towards the mechanical of the biomechanical side of the thing.
Right. No, that's a very good observation because they can't fly on their own. They need pilots, and two of them. It seems like a two-seater craft, but he has Zhaan has control of the aircraft.
Having a pilot and a co-pilot is always a good idea. But so John's getting flying lessons from Aeryn, who is less than impressed by his the progress he's making.
Hey, I am doing it. Whoa, wait, I'm not doing it.
You're doing it barely, but just...
Don't show me. Don't show me port side thrusters.
I love that he was completely unfazed by her sniping. She can just let loose and be mean to him.
Yeah.
And he takes it. He knows that this is how she expresses her level of stress.
Apparently, even the slowest Sebastian recruit would pick this up much faster than he, despite the fact that he's an NASA astronaut. And
but I'm still picking it up, he says.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
The more I modify my module with more add-ons, the more I need to understand biomechanoid technology.
I've thought about this. Some people just act hostile out of insecurity or whatever, and it is possible. It's difficult, but it's possible to have a positive relationship with someone who says hostile things because you understand their psychology. Now, obviously, this isn't something that everybody should put up with under all circumstances.
No, I suppose.
But he's recognizing that this is what she does when she's grumpy, and that there's a difference between the abuse that she gives him when she's really disappointed in him, and just the sort of baseline grumpiness at the universe.
Generic ribbing that she's it's not ribbing, it's more good natured. It doesn't really, it never really seems very good natured coming from Aeryn.
Now you do that one again and I'll kill you.
Oh, sorry. Almost hit that big sun out there.
There's nothing out there, John.
Exactly, Aeryn. That's why we picked this spot. Nothing for me to hit.
I think it's also kind of a show of strength that he's not letting her get to him, and I think she respects him for it.
Well...
Okay, well, maybe that's a generous interpretation, You're right.
Meanwhile, on Moya, Rygel is being as big as an ass as usual.
You see what I mean? How there can be a difference between just the regular, what do you call him? You call him pesky, the regular peskiness, and the super enhanced, the virulent pestilence.
Yeah,
where... Pestilence.
Pestilence. He is whining about how many servants he used to have and how they never let him get bored, and now he is bored.
Bored. Will you stop doing that?
And he's whacking his little game stick against the board,
trying to tempt Zhaan into a game which. Look, Zhaan is pissed.
Everybody's tetchy. I mean,
Dargo is perfectly normal.
Well, okay,
for Dargo,
he's always tetchy, I suppose.
He walks on the bridge and everything is weird. He is perfectly
everything is
normal.
Moya is wet. There's stuff dripping down the walls in his chamber.
All because of Moya's pregnancy.
I suppose so. Yes.
Even Pilot is weird. Do you know how? Did you notice how?
Yes, that was,
so sorry. He went full
There was a
Worcester.
Big blaring klaxon blaring across the ship, and he's
So sorry.
Oh, sorry, I must have hit the wrong channel. And it's he's being very passive aggressively. I mean, we don't really see Pilot at all, other than that one shot in this episode.
Yeah.
He's completely guess we don't need Pilot.
Do you know what it could be?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has his tendrils running all throughout Moya. He's symbiotic with her. She's pregnant. Could he be experiencing her hormonal imbalances as well,
sense.
or mood swings, or I mean, maybe he is just really annoyed with everyone on board. It might just be completely reasonable.
I mean, everybody else is being difficult enough as it is. So I mean,
and they have all been pretty horrible for a few episodes, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, everybody is kind of nasty in general. It's there's no real harmony in the team, in the group.
No.
They're all a bit. I mean, last episode wasn't too bad, but
no, that was a nice relief.
Yeah, this one, they're back to being full. At least at the beginning, they're back to being full on snipey at each other. Basically,
we've had 2 episodes in a row that started off with John and Aeryn in a spacecraft.
Yeah.
2 episodes in a row where John and Aeryn had some problems with their spacecraft.
Right, yes. And I mean, that's pretty much what this entire episode is about. John and Aeryn in a spacecraft. K-I-S... No, wait, that comes later.
B-I-T-C-H-I-N-G, I think
that was Dargo and Aeryn sitting in a tree. B-I-T-C-H-I-N-G, yes.
Apparently, it's not easy flying this craft. I mean, you say that he's an astronaut, but like he doesn't know actual
it's
space
just like
flight
touch
physics.
thing, and then suddenly the thing turns around, and that apparently skews gravity, which seems a bit weird. You've got artificial gravity, so if you turn the ship, then don't really need that to like suddenly turn the Dutch angles on the camera. But,
Who knows how it works? I mean, they clearly have enough confidence in it not to have seatbelts.
Yeah.
As always.
Which goes kind of wrong for them as they bump into this invisible thing.
We hit something!
No, we didn't.
Hey, look, I was in a head-on when I was 19. We hit something!
And at first I thought it was like we're hitting the wormhole blues or something.
Oh, wow.
Had a bit. Well, it had that little blue shimmery thing, so that was my first thought. My second thought was like, is it a cloaked ship or something like that, which would have also been the whole bouncing off the bouncing off the weird shield thing.
Yeah, because the ship plunges into some sort of like membrane of plasma that's out in space that it's clearly pushing against, and it's pulling back. It looks elastic. It looks electric blue.
I thought they bounced off something rather than they got sucked into something.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a much more subtle effect at first.
Yeah.
It's much more sort of wispy and cloudy. But in that shot of the transport pod in space, I mean, I'm zooming in on a screenshot here, so I see two things. First of all, that the front bit, say the front third, is quite different in shape than the back 2/3. The back 2/3
the shuttle, the pod,
the transport pod. Yeah,
no, absolutely.
Like that sort of like a bulbous triangle at the back, and at the front it's got all of these ribs, including around there at the front, which reminded me of
the lightsaber.
Yes, no, now I get it.
Yeah.
It's an upside down lightsaber.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I sort of compared it, certainly when you look at the inside, it's also got the structural ribs, and it's got those gorgeous, we call them like flower petals, where Pilot has appeared before, the alternative to his clamshells.
Oh, right, yes.
Which I noticed were not being used in that way. Like, you've got two of these, like, his master's voice horns, it's like these old gramophone horns, pointing at each of the pilots. But that's not where the holograms are appearing. The only hologram that we see is projected like in the middle between them.
Yeah, and it's completely useless. I mean, it's like I can't make heads nor tails of it. It's just like a weird thing that's like glowing up there, and it doesn't seem to do anything really. Like,
yes, and actually kind of the same goes with the front windows, which you briefly see. They're these sort of teardrop-shaped gaps with lights over them, shining lights into your eyes so you can look out into space.
Yeah, I mean, and the ship seems to be fairly badly stricken, and this is where the lack of seatbelts really comes back to bite them.
Yeah.
Because like there's like gas pouring out of vents, everything, and Aeryn seems to be unconscious for a little bit until Crichton very concernedly wakes her up.
Damn, don't scare me like that.
Scare you? What, you think Guy had something to do with that?
No, I thought you might. Never mind. You gonna be all right?
Think so.
Because something happened that has never happened before. They got shook about, they got knocked out of their seats, but they didn't fall on top of each other.
Oh, no.
They fell apart from each other, so something serious is happening.
They're going to make up for that later on in the episode. So.
They're going to try.
Yeah.
They're not the only ones facing an unexpected situation, because on Moya, they're detecting what Pilot calls a most unusual craft.
It seems a most curious vessel.
It looks like someone put a snowplow in space, and I mean that's the best way I can describe it.
No, you're right. It looks really, really mechanical. I don't know, like a thresher, like a piece of farm equipment out in space.
It
looks
like a snowplow.
Rusty. Yeah, no, certainly.
Yeah, there's a little bit of discussion about what they should do with it, but eventually they allow it to dock with Moya.
I don't get why.
No, I mean, apparently there was like some sort of transmission, and
An unidentified vessel is asking permission to come aboard.
And basically this, I don't know, Australian drifter, Mad Max guy
yes,
who shows up on board with this huge facial tattoo and his weird little rib disc
like
on his forehead.
On
but he also had the same thing on his cheek and later on his leg. So I think it's like, some sort of like subdermal, not a tattoo, but like some sort of race thing. And we see other people
like
who have them as well.
scarification.
Kind of, yeah, but you've also got this thing where they put things underneath your skin just to make bumps and ridges.
Oh, like so.
Yeah, and he's got this massive Australian accent.
The name's Staanz. Oh, there's no need for the firepower, friend.
I disagree, friend.
Yeah.
So
this
they really just pulled him off the streets, as far as I can tell.
No, that's really unfair to Rhys Muldoon, who I checked on IMDb. He has a fantastic pedigree in Australian television and cinema, and I think, he did such a great job as Staanz. This character is called, and Staanz. We later find out, this is a bit of a spoiler, but I think it's actually relevant. Is the female of her species.
Oh, okay.
I am the female of the species, you know that, don't you?
Now I'm reminded of that song from the Austin Powers soundtrack. The female of the species is more deadly than the male.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I actually went on the Farscape Wikipedia. It's called the Farscape Encyclopedia Project. And I actually made my first little wiki correction because they'd missed one pronoun there where Staanz was referred to as him instead of her.
Very cunning. So I didn't quite catch all of that. I mean, there was a comment a little bit later on. We're getting ahead of ourselves where he is...
Well, I think this is one of those situations where it's necessary, to talk about Staanz correctly.
Right,
I know the bit that you're talking about. It's where Staanz drops her trousers to show off her what's it called? The Zenetian murals.
Zenetian gang murals?
That's the one, yes.
On her leg.
Basically showing that she'd been on some sort of prisoner ship or something like that.
I spent 9 cycles in a Malsonic labour stockade.
And then everyone got super, Rygel asked, where are your, and won't finish his sentence.
Mivance.
Where are your...
My,
For an anthropoid biped, there seems to be something missing.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm a Yenin by species.
And why did he just say... this is the thing that I found so confusing. And even Zhaan is euphemistic. For an anthropoid species to seem to lack certain...
Right, and then...
But Zhaan's was even wearing her underwear.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like particularly tight underwear, so...
But there was a comment there as well about that, they don't exactly fit the standard mold species.
We're not exactly cut from the standard mold.
Yeah.
And I'm just okay, so there is a standard... I mean, I guess that's humanoid, but... That's
well, I do recall that when Jelena, the PK Tech girl, had her proximity alert with John, she noticed that I see that human and Sebastian males are constructed more or less the same because he had a little space boner.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
It seems human and Sebastian men are much the same.
Yeah, I'm not noticing any difference in the women either.
Which Staanz does not have. He did, she did later refer to her Zenetian, and she paused, brothers.
My Zenetian brothers did nothing to help me.
Yes.
Which I'm not entirely sure what to make of it.
I didn't catch that at the time. I kind of thought it was more like
No,
brothers in arms kind of thing,
Yeah.
Because she was part of the Zenetian pirates who apparently put this whole flux thing in place, as we learn.
Yeah.
Flax thing, sorry, not flux.
The Flax, yeah. And at first I thought that maybe the Zenetian pirates was the name of the band of pirates, not the species.
No, it's the species, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She does later talk about that. Yeah, this is one of those situations where we really do have to go to the end to talk about the beginning.
So this seems to be some sort of big capture net, which they use to catch ships and then basically kill everybody on board and strip the ships and sell them for profit and melt them down in the end.
A lot of technobabble in this episode because she talks about the Flax being this magnetic.
It's a magnetdrift mesh, 75 million zacrons long.
Something which is really huge.
The Flax magnet absorbs the light before it can get to us. It's a bummer like that.
All the other things she mentioned, that she's a garbologist.
I never robbed anybody. Well, I used to rob anybody, but now I'm an honest garbologist. Ask anyone. I can give you a list of names. What's a couple of names?
Which it was I thought.
That. Yeah. Really insisting that she doesn't deal in garbage. She's a garbologist. She's a trash connoisseur.
Oh, the garbage. Maybe she's a little bit coyote in about.
Oh, with that hairstyle, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also notice the crop top.
Yep.
That's always a fantastic look, and so many accessories. You got the chain necklace with a
sprocket on it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got the cool tattoos on the face.
They got loads of those. Yeah.
Big old pirate earring. Fantastic hair. Dargo does not trust her one bit.
Not even slightly. Rygel, however, sees an opportunity to tempt her into the game that he's been banging his stick against the board for.
Look, whatever you're doing there, it can't be important.
You're just scared I'll win.
Tadek, I think it was.
Is it?
Oh, I'm probably going to correct myself on that later on once I look it up, but let's go with...
And they're, he's like... And he, like, nobody does smug like Rygel does. Like...
Staanz comes close, though.
I know,
it's like,
but...
Oh, your board's looking pretty good there. Do you play? Oh, I dabble.
Maybe I can you could teach me a few things. And you can tell them, like, they're both, like, hustlers trying to hustle.
It's so good. I sort of expected, like, tango music in the background and like, David Attenborough the two adversaries are sizing one another up across the battlefield of love.
Yes. Dargo doesn't trust her at all and basically looks her up in the records that Moya apparently still has on the prisoners.
Yes, the peacekeeper... Oh, I've got it written down here. The PK Skmots.
Okay, is that what it's called?
No, that's not what it's called. It's a Blues Brothers reference. And then you say, what's a Skmots?
What's a Skmots?
State, County, Municipal Offender Database System. Skmots.
Okay, that seems like it's been way too long since I've seen that movie.
We're very good friends. You're going to be getting a lot of Blues Brother references over the course of this series. So, like,
fair enough. I mean, like, it's been years and years since I've seen that movie. So
maybe we'll do a Blues Brothers rewatch, probably off mic. I think that would be safer.
That's probably a good idea. Yes.
He looks up Staanz, who has quite a record. And eventually, like, later confronts Staanz with this, and I absolutely love Staanz. I love her so much because her response, I've got a criminal record in lots of planets.
Yes.
Like, what a fantastic line.
There's actually a discussion between Zhaan and Dargo about whether or not they've been reading each other's criminal records. And Zhaan basically says, like, well, have you looked up your own records? Do you believe what they say? Like, they make up so much bullshit. And then Dargo goes like, no, have you? And it's like, does she know what I've done? There's like, it's clearly a little bit of tension there.
Oh, do you think that Dargo actually read hers? Because there is something to that when he says,
not everyone imprisoned by the peacekeepers was innocent.
Knowing Dargo, it might have been him trying to open up. You never know with him.
Oh yeah, he is weird like that sometimes.
He is, and then suddenly, I mean, he's weird like that a lot in this episode. But
we know Zhaan's crime because she told John that
she was an anarchist, and killed.
She murdered the
religious leader. Yeah.
But does Dargo know that? Has Crichton told Dargo? Because he seems to know everybody's secrets. But is he the kind of person who shares them with others? I don't think so.
I don't think. We probably wouldn't bring them up unless it came up,
He does need to bring something up, and because he's doing repairs on the disco tiles in the transport pod, and I know, like, he's pulling up floorboards.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, floor pullers are like the same across the universe. It's like,
I love that.
You've got those like suction cup things that you use to pull up floor tiles. They're like, apparently they're universal. And it sort of looks like the handle sort of looks like an old timey iron or a cast iron kettle. No, it's just like a suction cup, You'd like.
I know, but then the handle on it, and then the whole thing sort of with the bronze.
I suppose you're right there.
No, I was doing my pilot impersonation. Sorry. He's really Jeeves and Woostering at this episode.
So sorry.
Yeah, it looks a bit like him, but it doesn't have any room to like put any coals in or anything, so it's not that much of an old time.
Wait, they actually had. You could actually put coals in.
Yeah. Well, actually, what they do is you basically heat up a piece of iron.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you put that in the iron.
Oh.
And then you like iron your clothes with that.
That's clever.
So it's like there's a beautiful video on YouTube of a guy who does a restoration on one of those old-fashioned things.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway,
the game is going well.
Afoot.
We have no way of knowing exactly.
No, there's just little plastic squares are being moved across color-changing.
Interesting move. Very unconventional. Care to raise the stakes?
More disco
places.
tiles,
Yes.
and apparently you have to like touch one of those plasma balls with one hand, and then use your little Y-shaped wand to tease them across the board.
Push them across, and then like occasionally, as we see later, then like holograms light up.
For what, like, it was like Fizzbin, the game that Kirk invents, or like Go Johnny Go 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 Go.
Yes.
From again, League of Gentlemen, deep cut.
Although this game does seem to have like fixed rules. I mean, as far as we are concerned, it might as well be made up, but I don't get that impression from the characters in the movie.
Yeah, they seem to know what they're doing, but it's sort of like number wang.
As far as we're concerned, yes, but maybe we're just like slow humans who don't understand it and can't learn it.
Do you understand any of those words?
Yeah, I watched all kinds of Star Trek. It's just the order they're in.
We do have a Hynerian who is very impressed by a particular move that Staanz make. That's very unconventional. He's never seen it before. While he's puffing on his little Hynerian hookah.
Oh, well, little. I mean, it's taller than he is.
Yeah. And he seems to be enjoying it a lot.
He does. He does seem to be very pleasantly buzzed. Unlike our Zenetian, who's like forcibly picked up by Dargo and shaken for some details about what it is. Finally gets him to open up about what's going on with this Flax thing. They've noticed that their friends are missing. It's like they've lost contact with the pod, and he's like now questioning
Staanz.
Thank you. To reveal more about the Flax.
And Staanz seems reluctant, but she's really just kind of weird in her like priorities and speech. Like as we see more of her in the episode, she's actually not reluctant. She's just dumb sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Which kind of goes for everyone.
Makes you wonder how she got away from the other ones.
Why would they want to keep her?
Fair point. Aeryn and Crichton are still trying to fix the shuttle. Power goes out.
John is. He's the one who's trying to read the sort of diagrams.
Yeah, Aeryn bitches a little bit more about things being tech work, that being tech work, and like, so what do you do if your ship crashes?
Just die, I guess.
No, I mean, that's literally what she says. Like, well, we are taught to like acquire another one. It's like, what? Steal one? Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, like she mocks him for being so slow at reading these diagrams, and then also like completely dismisses the fact that she can't read them at all.
Yeah, because that's not her work. That's tech work.
Still tech work.
Yeah.
The confrontation between Staanz and Dargo continues.
He throws him into one of the cells, lets him out again. Oh, sorry, yes. Yep. Throws her into one of the cells, lets her out again immediately.
Yeah, that's like a 10-second incarceration. Before she shows him another scar, which convinces him that she escaped under violent circumstances.
Yes, and that she knows the location of a Luxon ship.
What species are you?
Luxon.
Luxon? Never heard of it. Doesn't mean you don't exist.
Those boots are Luxon. A Luxon would never lose his boots unless he were dead.
I didn't kill him. He was already dead. His ship got caught in the Flax.
You tried to loot a dead Luxon ship.
Of course I did. That's what I do. I loot ships. I see a ship, I try and loot it.
Well, that ship, my friend, was a Luxon Deep Space Voyager.
Now, throughout this, I noticed how different everyone looks. Like the lighting on Moya has been changing episode to episode.
It's very flat in this one, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't have that sort of ochre warmth that we're used to. Even in the opening establishing shot of Moya, she was almost purple.
Yes, and even some of the outside shots where she was also a little bit palish. But then again, like she's pregnant, that might change her color. Or they might just
that's very good. Yeah.
Or they might just be under a different sun. That's also an option.
Yep.
So they fix the ship, they try to bust out of the Flax, they fail, there's immediate fire on board. Aeryn decides that she's going to chop her foot off because it's stuck under a beam.
I like that. They were just sort of bitching at each other like, give me that axe, what are you going to use it for?
What are you going to do with it?
Gonna hack my foot off.
Oh, no, well, let me then.
Oh, just give it to me.
Oh, let me then. Like, they know.
I mean, you'd think that he'd be more concerned about dousing the fire, which is burning on the other side of the bridge, but no, let's like a little bit of snippery is the obvious the way to go here.
And he'd better hurry because their only chance of rescue now is Dargo and Staanz, who have boarded... I have a note here, like Staanz's spacecraft, which... Oh, by the way, did you notice how it docked on the underside of Moya? Like, we know she's got a little kissy docking pucker on the side.
Yes.
But apparently this one gave her a docking snog from below. Ooh,
yes,
intimate.
And they didn't go into the docking bay with the...
the docking web. Oh, it's docking
web.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, the docking dildo, as I think I call it.
Right, yes. And nor into the cargo bay, which the Peacekeeper ship decided to land in. So there's like lots of options to get on board, and apparently we have another one.
So off detaches this crude-looking craft. I love the way it looks. Like snowplow is actually a really, really good way to describe it. Certainly one of the like I've seen them in Moscow when I visited there. They seem to have these machines that are able to through gigantically snow-covered streets just plow through and convert snow into thick black smoke for some reason. Speaking of thick smoke, Dargo is now on board Staanz's ship, which the interior is... Wow, there's so much junk.
It is one entire junk shop. I mean, it even has an open furnace.
Yes,
which apparently occasionally needs to be filled with fuel. I don't know what those little doll things are that she throws into that fire.
But she's talked about how as a garbologist, she only takes the absolute cream of the crop, and she's got these highly collectible defective dolls that can do this and that.
I've got 9 million Onyxie play parts. They particleize. They levitate. Everything. One day I'm going to sell these babies and make a killing. They burn good too.
But I love this ship. There's so many.
There are bellows that need to be pumped. There are bicycle pedals that need to be wheeled. This thing is more complicated to fly than the TARDIS.
Yes, I have it written down that it's Staanz bought a TARDIS off AliExpress.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly how this thing looks.
It's a gigantic bop it. It's one of those terrible toys, bop it, twist it, yank it.
Yes, kill your family.
Whoa!
Well, it was the AliExpress version, wasn't it? Hail the party. Oh no, wait, that's...
Oh, but, I've been to, what is it? Laser Quest arenas that looked like this.
Yes. It's very industrial, rugged look.
Lots of steam, lots of lights.
Oh, yeah, and apparently you have to bang things.
Try this.
No, I think I'll pass.
Hang on. If I don't get to this, she's going to blow.
What?
Come on, baby.
Why don't you just get it fixed?
I did fix it. That's why it works when I whack it a few times. Help me. Uh-oh.
What?
Hang on!
Now take this big stick and bang it against this grate over here, and that's going to help us go.
Works better when I whack it a few times.
Exactly, and just keep whacking
it.
Whack it harder. And, it's okay.
I mean, things are not going much better on the transport pod, let's be fair.
No, they've managed to get an emergency beacon out.
Ooh.
I saw that happen, and I thought, did they just lose one of their engine pods? But no, it turns out it was just an emergency beacon that they were firing off.
It looked like the beginning of Serenity, the Firefly film, where a chunk of the ship just comes off. But no, apparently that was their plan. Hey, for an episode with so much technobabble and so much mechanical-based peril, there was a lot of moments where I just didn't really know what they were trying to do. In their first attempt to escape, they
were doing more power. No, not enough power. Still more power.
300 rads, 500 rads. Do I kick it? What are we doing?
Yeah, 80%, 300 rads, and 100%, and now we're at 500 rads, and I was just what?
I gotta say, I was into it though. I'm a Star Trek nerd, obviously, and this sort of scratched an itch that I've had for a while. Hey, they can do technobabble, stuck in a shuttle pod episodes as well. The
Zenetian and Dargo make off just in time before the other Zenetans arrive.
Yeah, they see the Zenetian craft.
Zenetian, that's the one, right?
Coming toward them, and they dodge them in the blackness and emptiness of space.
Yep.
And then the ship just misses them. Somehow you can do that in the vacuum.
No, you just stick on the Moya's other side. She's got a big pregnant belly, so you can just use that for.
She looks great.
I know.
You wouldn't even notice. She just has a glow about her. That's how you know.
True.
All of Moya is glowing.
So two more guys come on board, and they have got really bad teeth.
Seems to be a Zenetian trait.
Right,
Staanz has bad teeth too.
They're greeted by Zhaan in the most courteous way at all.
Oh, she does the sort of self-anointing gesture over
she does the whole head wave again, and basically tell them, can I get you anything? And they go no, we take anything we want.
And you have nothing that we want.
And you're lucky that your Leviathan is pregnant, because I know what a bitch of a job it is to try and take a pregnant Leviathan, so I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, we lost 80 pirates.
to a pregnant Leviathan.
Again, pirates, not men.
True.
Because, Staanz says that she's the female of the species.
Yeah.
I think these are females too. They look like Staanz, just bald.
You think so? Okay, maybe.
Well, Staanz is played by a human male actor.
But
so if that's the female of the species,
it's possible. It's like it's completely left in the dark.
Well, hold on. We want to talk about them. Like, do we call them guys? Do we call them girls? What do we think is appropriate?
I don't know.
I know. See, this was one of the things I was not sure going into this episode whether it would be okay by modern standards, because obviously it's 2020 now. We have much higher standards for inclusivity that we hold our science fiction to than back then. And I did remember, and I wasn't completely wrong, that that Staanz's gender was played for a little bit of a gag, a little bit of gay panic at the end.
I actually completely missed it. I didn't catch any of that. It's not until you mentioned it. I mean, I caught the part of the lacking equipment, but any of that, it went completely over my head.
All right, we'll get there. Much more pressing are these pirates, which I think is the gender-neutral term that we can use.
Yes, let's go with pirates, who apparently have a reputation.
By the way, that goes for everyone. Like, it should be men, women, and if you don't know, then it's pirates.
All of them, yes. Who apparently have a reputation for cruelty.
As Zhaan greets them quite coolly, courteously, but still with her sort of a bad temper, because she has been in touch with Dargo and Staanz,
yes,
and knows that her job is to keep these pirates distracted.
Delay them. Yep, just delay them. See what we can do.
So when they pass by Rygel's board, and oh my God, he's been hitting the hook up.
He is stoned out of his tree.
Right. I immediately thought of, Steve Martin had a riff in 1970 something, and it was about, I like the drugs that make you small. Right? Instead of high.
Yeah.
I got real small. And looking at Rygel, I thought,
Yeah, he's very small.
And then a cop pulls him over and says, "Sir, are you small?" And I go, no, I'm tall. But he measured me and he put me in they got to put you in a special cell when you're small, because otherwise you just walk right through the bars.
So, yes, the pirate notices that Rygel has a big pile of crystals and wonders how he acquired those. And he says, yes. I won them.
Yeah. Because before that, like, he was so sad to Zhaan that even
she broke up the game, yes.
I would have won all this fair and square, even if he hadn't left it behind.
Actually, he did say he. No, he did say he.
Yeah. They talk about him. They don't know.
No, that makes sense, yeah. And he immediately starts to go back into his card shark game.
I don't know. I think
card sharps
either.
Yeah,
I think you're onto it.
Basically, he's hustling, and he immediately starts hustling the pirates into another game.
Yeah, you can see Zhaan a little uneasy about it, but she knows that they've got to distract them, and this is going to distract them.
Might as well go ahead and do it. Meanwhile, on the shuttle, they finally get the falling on top of each other moment after they...
Yes. Finally, they get everything working again, and the synthetic gravity is working the way it should, and it smacks them together.
Yes.
When they realize that they don't have a lot of options anymore. They're not going to get free. They've already sent their message. What do? Do we just wait for help? And after a second of looking at each other, they immediately each find another job to do that takes them away from each other. I'll check out the environmental.
It's like, the sexual tension is killing me.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, no.
Will they, won't they? Oh, just do it. No, but
not really.
They like to tease us on Farscape.
Oh, God. The ship with Dargo on it also gets stuck in the Flax, but they manage to break free. Yeah?
It needs a name. You were the senior namer of this podcast.
Chloe McPlowface. No.
Okay, no, I'm with you.
That would be like, that's like, sorry, I was looking at some earlier, apparently Scotland has quite a tradition in naming snowplows and salters.
So
you've got the itty bitty teeny weeny yellow anti-slip machine one.
Gritty anti-slip machine.
Yeah, itty bitty teeny weeny gritty anti-slip machine.
What else?
There was another one called Thaw Patrol. Or something like
Thaw Patrol.
No,
but like Paw Patrol, but then Thaw.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, exactly like that. And there was a few more. There was like a few takes on names. Sleety Mercury or something like that. No, what was it?
Sleddy Mercury.
Yes, I think something along those lines. Actually, let me look. I can find them for you.
Yes, please. I wonder how many of these I got right, because one of those is going to be the name of Staanz's ship.
Sorry, Thaw Enforcement was the one.
Thaw Enforcement. Yes. That's the name of this ship. It's the Thaw Enforcement.
Thaw Enforcement, yes. Let's see. I'm shoveling Spready Mercury. That's the one. Sir Gritzelot, Sprinkles. That was another one.
We should have just done a podcast about the names of
the
salting grit machines.
the street gritters in Scotland. Yes, David Plowie.
Okay, we've got okay. We're never going to finish this podcast unless we get back
True
on track.
Grit.
Okay. So it is.
Freezy Rider.
Okay, come on. It is very fortunate that the Thor enforcement is equipped with all of these abilities because they too get stuck in the flax.
Yes, and apparently it requires a few handfuls of the green dolls being thrown into the furnace, more bellowing, more banging, and they manage to break through the force field. Yeah,
Staanz teaches Dargo how her ship likes to be whacked off.
Oof.
I need you to whack this really hard on my signal. Whack it really hard. Ready? Whack it! Come on! You can do it! Just for that, please! Come on! Yes! We've done it! We're clear of the flags! We're clear! Did I say it? Hey, stop whacking it! We're clear! We've made it! Go with me, brother! We're clear. It doesn't get better than this, baby!
He whacks it with great fervor, yes.
I'm still very proud
He's a good
of that
whacker.
But the rescue may not come in time for John and Aeryn, who realize that they're in trouble. There's a problem with the atmospherics.
Yes.
The atmospheric mix, in particular. The atmospheric mix line needs to be welded, but there's too much
oxygen, so if they light the torch, then everything is going to go up in flames.
It's going to
go all Apollo 1 on them.
Oh dear.
That's really what we don't want.
Way to bring us all down, Kay. That was a fantastic...
That's the whole point that was implied by that whole scene. I mean, they didn't specifically mention Apollo 1, but yes. Spaceship full of oxygen, light torch. Light a fire. That's pretty much what would happen.
Now then, actually, I'm kind of disappointed that that it wasn't John who realized the solution, but Aeryn. Oh, we should just vent all the air out and fix it in our spacesuits.
Unfortunately, one of the visors of the spacesuits got broken, and it's like...
No, I know what you're talking about. It's The Abyss.
The Abyss?
The Abyss, the underwater film. Like there's a moment where one of the submersibles is sinking, and the two will they won't they heroes are sinking, and they've only got one working sea suit. A sea suit isn't a thing, a diving suit.
Diving suit, yes.
And Aeryn is instructing John on how to use what they call a kill shot.
Yeah.
And
a revival shot, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, something.
Neurological revival, yeah.
And she's totally cool about it. She says it's calibrated for sebaceans.
Kill me with it and do the repairs and then bring me back. And it should work fine.
Unfortunately, there's no way to test it before we depressurize.
John hands her the helmet that's smashed and says, "You notice anything about this?"
Yeah, it's irreparably broken. It's also his. And apparently her helmet doesn't fit him.
It seemed fine to me, honestly. Like, it seemed like it was plenty
but
big.
It's more exciting this way. So, he teaches her CPR. There's a little bit of awkwardness behind that. And,
I liked that. Like, she said it sounds incredibly complicated, and he said it's less complicated than flying a transport pod. Boom! That's how you do it.
I was surprised that she said, no, this is medic work. I don't do medic work. It's...
Well, he's meeting her where she's at. And I think she... Well, I like to think that she's respecting him, but...
Well, let's go with that. So they basically do the thing. They flush the air out of the pod, which is weird, because apparently flushing the air out looks just like someone is using steam cannons to fire into the room and...
Yeah, well, okay, they didn't actually, depressurize the Fox studios in Sydney.
No,
just
true, but still.
To suffocate.
At worst, they could have, reversed it or something. That would have looked wrong as well. So
they would have looked super weird if it had been reversed. Although,
can't they act in reverse?
Well, Crichton didn't need to. He died at the time. He got the kill shot and said, "Oh, it doesn't even hurt."
Yeah, that was good. So he's just sitting there going "Oh, this is fine," and then suddenly keels over and dies.
Yeah.
Then only then does Aeryn start putting her spacesuit on, because they're on a 180 micron timer or whatever they call it.
Yes. I've got notes about that. He says that humans, without oxygen, his brain can survive for 3 or 4 minutes, which seems long.
That's about right. But right around that time, you start getting brain damage, serious brain damage.
3 or 4 minutes? Oh, yeah. I guess if the whole body's shut down.
Yeah. exactly. You're not.
I guess okay. Because I want to know in like 45 seconds, but that's probably
that's when you lose consciousness. That doesn't mean you get brain damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, their whole banter here is fantastic. It's just just pick a number and I'll do that.
Yeah.
But the number that he says is 4 minutes or 180 microns.
Yes.
So it's 45 microns to a minute.
It's not exactly like 3 or 4, which is actually what I noticed later on after like Aeryn does the fixing. Like there's a countdown timer.
You now have 60 microns. 59. 58. 57.
And when it hits 0, then she stops everything and starts going back. Like it's not an exact science,
No, but that's what she said. You give me a number and I'll do that, because that's how she wants to approach
Fair
these
enough.
these
that
tasks.
makes sense.
And he's nervous about that. And she says, like, the words that we'd all love to hear.
I won't let you down, John.
Yes.
I would want those exact words. I want them to call me John. I find that really reassuring if it was
I
me.
mean, at this point, she does show some genuine concern for him.
Yeah.
She gets knocked out.
Yes.
By the air rushing back in, and there's a bit of a moment there where they're just like both of them unconscious, I suppose.
Yeah, because like after the countdown, she immediately just stopped her work, smacked the button to repressurize the room, and then she gets knocked out. Like she stopped her work so she could immediately rescue him. And then she gets knocked out. An incredibly tense moment to go to credits.
And go,
commercials.
Well, go to the next scene where there's the game between the pirate and Rygel.
Which is not going very well for Rygel.
And Rygel likes to think that there's a little bit of moment where he does a certain move and the pirate goes like, "Where did you learn that move?"
I made it up myself.
Did you?
I just came up with it.
Which was, of course, the move that What's-Face made.
Staanz.
What was her name again? Staanz, yes. The game doesn't go well. He has to ante up. He doesn't have any more money. And he offers to sell them the location of Staanz.
Yeah. I mean, with a gun to his head, but he
the
doesn't put up much of his
the only
life.
gun comes to his head when he loses, and
Is that right?
Yeah, that's when the gun comes out. It's like he makes a move and go like, "Haha, I win," and then the pirate makes a move and goes like, "No, I win."
Yes, that's right.
Then
to Zhaan's consternation.
Yes, and then the gun comes out, and he has to okay, where are they? It's like, well, I don't know, but like you can follow the communicator trail that from our shipmate
that you can find in the data stores.
In Moya's data stores.
Did you see the gun, by the way?
It was weird. It was like,
it's an underslung. Yeah. It is really cool. It's got lots of chrome. Like the prop maker must have been so disappointed that it was only in view for a few seconds. Or maybe they reused it.
To be honest, it looks like another prop which is just being
upside
held
down.
Upside down.
Yes, that's what I thought. Aeryn wakes up and she performs some really bad CPR.
Yeah, she's going way too slow. At least she does the breathing more or less right. She doesn't tilt his head back, but she does pinch his nose shut. So,
So you're halfway there. So at least none of the air escapes that she's exhaling into his stomach.
Yeah.
So he's got a nice full tummy of her breath.
Also, apparently CPR beats sebation neurotoxins. So
what is it supposed to?
Oh, because of course there was the revival vial, which now was broken or empty or whatever it is. Yes, that's why she had to resort to CPR.
Hey, but we're being sort of mean about it. It was actually quite a tense scene.
Oh, I didn't think so.
No,
it was like a little bit. There was too much plot armor going on there between them. It's like
they're going to be fine, of course, and I know it's manufactured drama, but like the performance certainly on Claudia Black's part really sold me.
Oh, absolutely, they were very well done. But yeah, it didn't really. I didn't really feel like that they were actually in danger. Well, they're not, because they survived. They're the stars of the show.
Exactly, and also how to do actual first aid correctly.
Yes, they teach you expect to hear ribs breaking when you're doing this. That's how hard you're supposed to do it. Like,
I imagine Claudia Black was told not to do that.
Well, there's of course that, yes.
But there's still the tempo. There's still the it should be staying alive or 500 miles.
Yeah, one of the other is fine. I like 500 miles myself because the chorus is just the right number of beats. It's 30 beats. So after that, you do the breathing.
Oh, you still do the breathing? I thought they didn't teach that anymore.
That's the American way. Here in Europe, they still say yes.
All right. Quick disclaimer: we are in no way qualified to give medical advice to anyone.
No.
But listen to what the machine tells you to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dial the appropriate alarm number and listen to them.
Go between the nipples, push down about 5 centimeters.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And tilt their head back and pinch their nose for the breathe. No, I just said we can't give medical.
Anything is better than nothing. They're already dead at that point. The only thing is you're...
We just stop trying to... We've just... There's so many disclaimers that we have to do.
Oh,
Did you notice, like, the voice that came up doing the countdown started at 60 microns, despite the fact that apparently, like, 45 is the unit. It sounded like a flight attendant.
A little bit, yeah. It's like this kind of bored voice going like...
57, 56, 55,
54, 53. So a ship comes into view when the what was it? What did we call it? The Thor Patrol?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because we missed this entire little subplot. The reason that the Dargo is out there with Staanz is to find a Luxon craft that was also stuck in the Flax.
Well, that ship, my friend, was a Luxon Deep Space Voyager.
Who apparently has this map thread or whatever they call it.
Map fibers.
Map fibers.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
We may have on board some map fibers that I desperately need. Can you take me there?
I don't know. It was earmarked for destruction. They might have already melted it down.
And I linked it to something earlier when they went on the Zelbinian in PK Tech Girl. They were looking for data spools.
There's information on her data spools that could lead us home.
That sounds a bit like an old-fashioned, like a tape spool, you know, with
right. But if you think of like spools and fibers, like maybe they store their information on one-dimensional substrates,
right? Yeah.
And wrap those in.
I mean, they before we got cassette tape, they had like cassette wire. Which was basically...
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It works. It's no problem. They find a Luxon salt piercer or a salt piercer. I'm not quite sure what it was.
No, you said salt piercer.
It was like a Luxon...
We're going to stay with the snowplow theme.
I'm going to go with a Luxon salt shaker then.
It's a beautiful ship. It's red. It's got this weird symmetry to it. It's got these huge prongs.
It looks a bit like a three-dimensional biohazard sign floating around in space.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And Dargo marvels at it because he dreamt of serving one as a boy.
Yes.
Serving on one. Yeah.
This seemed like a bit of a weird scene where they're just like, kind of like going back and forth. Are we going to go there or are we not going to go there? Like, despite the fact that they went there and now they're maybe not going to go there. And
well, they got a little clue about where John and Aeryn might be. They got a whiff of atmosphere from when Aeryn vented all the Admiral.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, Staanz sensors detected that.
Oh, okay, that must be one of the bits that I didn't quite hear what they were saying.
But so her idea is like either they're fine or they're already out of atmosphere and there's no rescuing them anyway. So we might as well check out the Luxon craft. Staanz is really insistent about
yeah, she's Dargo, like getting him to go on, and she wants him to like go find this thing so that he can go home. Apparently, we think.
Yep, back to his family, back to his son.
Which comes up again and again and again. Yes,
and Dargo, and this is Dargo to the core, or at least like the better side of Dargo. Realize he does want to see his son, but he wants to be able to look him in the eye and not abandon an ally in a time of need.
Oh yeah, because he did officially become allies with Crichton, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, so they get an official alliance.
But not with Aeryn. Hey, by the way, so they started off in the... she was giving John driving lessons because he might be useful to her at some point.
Yeah.
What about Dargo? Why wasn't Dargo in there with...
Maybe Dargo can already fly?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's stolen her ride often enough.
Yeah, I was going to say. So apparently he knows what she's doing. And it's Crichton who needs to be brought up to spec.
Turns out that Rygel also knows what he's doing because when Zhaan confronts him about you gave the pirates the coordinates.
I gave them some coordinates.
I had Pilot change them as soon as the
moment they came on board. Yes.
You lost Kcrackic on purpose.
You think it was easy? He's an abominable player. A switched-off DRD would have made a better showing for itself. Bluffing is what the game's all about.
He's an abominable player.
Yes. Yeah, Rygel being in super smug mode again.
Rygel, so fantastic.
Meanwhile, Aeryn and Crichton are facing their last moments before they die and start ripping each other's clothes off.
Yeah, they're really going at it.
I was just like, what?
I mean, wouldn't you?
I don't know. They've never really... I mean,
What do you mean they've never really... They've been eye-frelling each other since day one.
Have they, though?
Okay. They've
been cinematographically they've been put in situations in sexual tension situations, but I never actually felt that there was any genuine sexual tension between them. Other than like this is a 90s show and therefore
and they're arguing all the time.
And not in a friendly banter kind of way, but in a,
You know what? Yeah, it was played very cool up to... it has been played very, very cool in general, because like any interest they may have in each other is just completely overshadowed by the situation that they're in and all that it implies.
But yeah, they start ripping each other's spacesuits off, kissing heavily, and just at that moment, Dargo barges in because he's made the right decision and he's come back to rescue them from this fate of asphyxiation, I suppose.
Yeah, and there's this Looney Tunes music of awkwardness. Like this is... I felt kind of let the episode down because it was so like 90s and conventional. Like, oh, we were caught almost having sex.
Yes, and that's Dargo wouldn't know that. They still had most of their uniforms on.
There's no way you could smell it.
That's another thing I actually was thinking about. They were sitting there like being really super cold in this ship, and I'm just like, I mean, your helmet may not work anymore, but the rest of the controls in your spacesuit presumably still work. Why don't you turn the heating on?
Why wouldn't they be better isolated? Also, she's Sebastian. Why is cold a problem?
Yeah, apparently that's not also a thing. But he kind of pulls her against him, and that starts off the whole little kissy makeout thing.
I mean, they are in a high oxygen environment, and they have been through a lot just now. Their hormones are all over the place.
True.
But Dargo being all super awkward about it, and the pop 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 music was a bit. It gets worse. It continues because they all board Staanz's craft, where Staanz makes moon eyes to Dargo and thought that we could go off together because I'm lonely.
That was weird.
Everybody needs a mate, Dargo. Even you.
A mate?
And he actually seems tempted by this.
Is that what you read in his face?
Yes.
All right. No, hit me.
It seemed like he was like, oh, will I not? I mean, he seemed to like to seriously...
We may need to watch this episode again because that's not what I got out of it at all.
What did you get, pity?
Well, when Staanz then mentioned, I'm the female... Sorry, I've got to do the Australian thing.
Right.
Now I'm the female of my species.
In fact, false modesty aside, I'm considered quite the Zenetian beauty.
Right, and then Dargo goes, I don't, I left the gas on and I've got the fridge is still running. He was trying to, back away. And, John was smug about it. Well, I'll leave you lovebirds to it. Do you like my American accent there?
Well, no. But
cool. Trust a friend, to be honest. Oh, man. Well, maybe we need to watch this again. Because
I got an entirely different vibe from that scene.
How did it vibe for you?
I mean, it was a bit weird that she started to going all lovey-dovey on him all of a sudden. Yeah, that was
I don't really.
I love you.
Well, you.
Love you. I love you.
From Dargo, I almost got the impression that he was kind of touched by it.
Oh.
Yeah, like he could get himself another little squeeze or something, but maybe go back to the ship and find the threads and the spool or whatever it was.
Well, it would have been melted down by now. It was in next in line for melting, but hey, who knows how long that takes.
She actually mentions the fact that there might be another Luxon ship somewhere in the Flax. Yeah,
you know what? I would much prefer that reading because this felt like a little bit of comedic gay panic,
right? And I didn't get any of that. It didn't feel like that to me at all. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'm very excited to watch it again then with your new insights. That, in another 23 years, that'll be so Farscape, the next generation. Set your calendars. Yeah. This is an absolute definite guarantee. Certainly going to happen in 2040. Well, we'll work out the math sometime.
Something along then, 20-something, 40. Another beautiful shot of Moya.
She's back in ochre.
She is not quite as much as she used to be, but
she's got this lovely golden bronze and sheen.
Yes,
sort of like the gas cloud or galaxy. I don't know that she's sailing past. Oh, Moya, she's I'm crazy for Zhaan, but Moya is the real beauty of the show.
Ah, there you go. Back on Moya's control, we have Aeryn and Crichton having a little moment where they go oh, this was just a one-off thing. Like, it's never going to happen again. No,
definitely.
Never again.
Was just the oxygen. Like, it would have happened if it was you and Dargo. Or if it was you and Zhaan.
Yes.
Again, sticking with the super heteronormativity.
Very much so, yeah.
It's not like she said, it would have happened with you and Dargo too.
No. I mean, they're allies, not friends, remember?
Yeah, well, that's still more than he and Aeryn are, and he and Aeryn got it on in the heat of the moment.
True. And so they do the like, I'm not into this, and are you? And like the whole, both of them are denying it towards the other. And
it's like John, he's got the guts to come up and go, "You are the female of your species, aren't you?"
Yes.
I think that is a yes.
Walks off, makes sure that she's checking out his butt.
She gives him a bit of an offended look, but when she is checking out his butt, like she does like get this saucy little grin almost.
And he looks back, he made sure that I saw you checking me out.
So I noticed they dropped off the kind of like down energy endings of episodes. Like for the last few episodes, they've been a little bit more up tempo, not up tempo, upbeat. Upbeat, yes, that's what
this
I was
one's positively quirky.
It is.
Do we have any closing thoughts? I'm doing a quick note review. I missed a lot of notes that I'd written here. One of them was the observation when the Zenetian pirates came aboard, which is definitely the gender neutral term that we're going to be using for everyone from now on.
Zenetian pirate, just pirates, yeah.
It was a very short walk from the hangar bay to the command. It was. Like they went through 3 sets and they continued the conversation through there.
Yes.
It's 20 feet away.
Yeah, I'm just going to call that a little bit of director's liberty.
Yeah, I mean, it suggests that the Peacekeeper commandos who boarded Moya in the
took the long way around. Yeah,
took them a while.
Yeah,
it was hot.
It was, and
they had to do all that rolling,
and they had to like get their kit off. So
Oh yeah, I noticed a few other things while they were repairing the transport pod.
Yeah.
John talked about that the calorics are completely depleted.
Yes,
I like that. So calorics,
like frankly, we're running on some sort of biological energy. Yeah.
And Aeryn says that's impossible. I just fed the batteries before we left.
Yeah.
Fed the batteries.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you feed power into batteries, but it's like
I love these details.
It is very a cute way of talking about biomechanoid ships, I suppose.
I can totally see why. I mean, I don't know how it worked, but this was Justin Monjo's first script, first of many on Farscape, and of course, we wanted more of this. It was so good.
It was a very interesting episode. It was very, very different, like very, very limited in set-wise. No weird big planets or anything.
You had the AliExpress TARDIS.
True.
That was Thor Patrol.
Who was definitely... it was definitely an interesting ship, both inside and out.
Like, you can sort of look where they put their pennies every episode. Like, sometimes it's a vast new set and makeup, like on the last episode, Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah.
Or Namtar.
Well, to be honest, this just kind of looked like they took... just like the prop room and like put a furnace in it and
but you're like set production design and television production is much harder. Like the camera kept moving throughout all this, so they had to put the treads down and they had to organize it.
Of course.
The choreography of the whacking.
Whack this really hard on my signal. Whack it really hard.
All right. Willie or Woody?
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the willies.
What do you have?
I thought that like the kissing moment for me was a bit of a willy.
Willy?
Yeah, I didn't
between Aeryn and John?
Yeah, I didn't dig that. It was just like, okay, here we go again. Now apparently we have sexual tension resolved or whatever. It felt contrived.
I can get that. It felt sort of perfunctory 90s heteronormativity.
Yes.
I'll give that sort of that whole sort of vibe throughout the episode. I'll give that my Willy as well, but in a more general sense. Like my initial reading of Dargo's discomfort with John and Aeryn, Dargo's discomfort with Staanz. Staanz's honestly pathetic final lines after being such a standout character.
Yes,
and the sort of implied gay prank. Like we haven't talked about this before. I have described Farscape as the queerest science fiction show with very little queer representation.
Right.
In terms of like gay, lesbian, trans, like gender non-conforming or non-binary characters, even like the representation of various ethnicities is sort of limited, unless you count Australian as an exotic other.
Well, they kind of are, but
yeah, they're very sexy.
And as for Woodies, I would say Rygel definitely got my Woody.
Yeah.
Like, I loved him this episode. He was his smug self, but in the best way possible. Like he was being an arse,
annoying,
but always with a purpose, rather than just being a weird little sidekick, basically. So yeah, he came into his own in this episode, I would say.
I think that I wouldn't have said Rygel, but you're completely right. I'm saying Rygel too. Rygel gets the Woody. He is the short king of this episode.
The Dominar.
The Dominar effect, because it's so glorious to see him. Like all of his properties are in view here. He's absolutely awful, and he's really amazing.
Yeah, and he's quite clever apparently, and he knows how to play the part. Like he knows how to take people's perception of him and like use that against him.
Yeah. He never moved from his seat, so that must have been very comfortable for the puppeteers not to have to move this $60 million puppet, or however expensive it was. But Rygel, I think I've talked about it before, is really what sets Farscape apart. No other show would have a character like Rygel as part of the crew.
No, he's just like, he's an arse, he's like annoying, they barely tolerate him, and yet he's still... Yeah, an amazing character. Yes.
Yeah. It's sort of like, hey, in that regard, like Jane on Firefly.
A little bit, yeah.
Also unsympathetic, but necessary for the show.
Jane pulls through when he needs to. Partially because he's terrified of River, but, you know.
Also, I can kill you with my brain.
Yes.
And that's the story so far, Farscape.
We'll see you next week with episode 114, Jeremiah Crichton. Seemingly abandoned after crash landing on a planet, Crichton starts a peaceful life alongside inhabitants once ruled by the Hynerians. He unintentionally becomes involved in a power struggle which puts his life in danger.
We are going to have some stuff to talk about. Jeremiah Crichton is a bit of a legendary episode.
Okay.
Looking forward to...
Is it going to be like Enemy Mine or something like that?
My lips are sealed. So you can find us at SoFarscape on Twitter and Facebook, and on SoFarscape.com. The podcast is, of course, wherever you get your podcast, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm Kcrackic.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.